I love taking these duels as Illari. People really underestimate how strong her gun is. And you're going to see me kind of really baiting this Doomfist to try to attack me here. Hey guys, I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, and this video is going to be how to play Illari in Overwatch, alright? We're going to start off super basic with her gun. So her gun has a charge. So if I just look at this wall and I shoot, if you look at the center of my screen right now, the center of my screen is going to be charging with that little white fill meter. When it fills to full, that's when it does maximum damage. You only want to be shooting her gun when it's doing maximum damage, okay? The only exception is if you know an enemy is 1 health, then you can like finish the kill off real quick, but you will always want to be shooting it when it's full charge. Once you watch the video, you'll see what I mean. Another thing with her gun is it can right click and heal, right? So what you can do is you can actually charge it and you can heal while it's charging. So you're gonna see I'm gonna try to be positioning myself between my teammates and the enemy. So if I'm like this and I'm healing, see how it's charging and I can still heal, right? You obviously want to try to sandwich your teammate between the enemy, because if I'm here and trying to do it, that's like significantly harder, right? It doesn't make sense to do that. Now, her pylon. So to get into how her pylon works. So her pylon is going to give an AoE heal to anybody that can see the tip of this yellow thing. So even if I was like here, I can still be healed by this pylon, okay? It's going to be healing in like a pretty large radius around it. So it can't heal me if I'm like this far away from it, but it can definitely heal me if I'm like this close. What happens with this pylon is this is going to be the backbone of how Illari heals. It's just going to be passively healing everybody up constantly, and it's basically like putting Life Weaver on the wall. Alright? Now, what happens is you're going to be wanting to rotate this pylon all the time because you want maximum uptime. So you could just like put it back here if you're getting pushed, or you can actually manually break it yourself by pressing F, and it doesn't change the cooldown, okay? The only time it's going to change the cooldown is if an enemy actually shoots it. So if I put the pylon right here and this bot shoots my pylon, now if I cancel it, look, the cooldown is going to be 14 seconds if you saw in the bottom right corner of my screen, right? You never really want your pylon to die. You want as much uptime as possible on it. And I'm going to really be digging into my thoughts of where I put my pylons in this video. With her movement, her shift has 2 functions, okay? So if you just tap it, say I'm running and I just tap it, it's going to launch you forward horizontally, okay? You're going to get a lot of horizontal distance. But the second function is if you jump and then hold it, it gives you a lot of verticality instead. So rather than being horizontal, it becomes vertical, right? Last thing, this is how her ult works. So if I pop her ult, I can fly, okay? And whenever I'm flying, if I shoot it, it does contact damage, okay? Applies a debuff to them, where if they take enough damage, it's going to set off a big explosion and do a big AoE around them, which could possibly set off more explosions, which can lead to the coolest ults ever, but it usually doesn't get any value, and her ult's honestly pretty bad at higher ranks. Everybody just avoids it. Last thing, jiggle peeking. You're going to see me doing something called jiggle peeking. So since her gun has to charge, you want to let it charge and then peek again. It's really important to do this, okay? You do this with other characters like Ashe and stuff, but it's super important with Illari because of the way her gun charges. So I hope you guys like the video. I hope you get a lot out of it. Let me know your thoughts. Going into it, so we're coming out forward here, okay? Now, I'm going to be talking a lot about pylon rotations. So since we already took the front here, I put my pylon right in the middle, but I'm looking to move this right away as soon as they start pushing around here. Now, our comp is Ashe, Ana, Illari, which means that we're going to be playing really, really safe, while Genji and Doomfist are going to be trying to be like the kill finishers, okay? They're going to be like the confirmers of the team, while we're going to be trying to put out the pressure and the damage. Alright, so we're moving up here. Now, first thing I notice already is that there's a tracer left side, okay? And this is where I already make my first mistake. So Genji ends up getting 2-tapped. It happens in Overwatch, okay? It's really not his fault, but because he got 2-tapped, we need to back up. I already used my F, like I manually cancel my pylon so it doesn't get destroyed. And I actually rotate here, which is the first mistake I make. The reason why that's a mistake already is because, remember, I knew that tracer was on this left side. So instead of putting my pylon here, I could have rotated back and put it here, or I could have put it on this side. But that's the first mistake that I make in this round, okay? It's not the end of the world because once again, like our Genji did just get 2-tapped, which happens, but it's gonna lead us to losing this fight. So since our Doomfist goes down and I don't have my pylon up, I need to now focus on healing rather than damaging. Alright? Doomfist gets antied, which is no good. Because he's getting antied, I'm not even looking at him. I'm trying to output pressure. He ends up going down. It is what it is. Now we're backing up, okay? Making sure my teammates don't die, and then make sure my pylon is always up. You want to have your uptime with your pylon as much as you possibly can. This pylon's really hard for Doomfist to kill. He has to overextend it to kill it. Just really small stuff. Alright, trying to output pressure here. And then we're about to push in again. So, a reason why I go left side, and once again, I think this is another mistake I make, is because I was watching an Overwatch CS game where Fielder, I think it was Fielder, took an off angle on Illari and it worked out pretty well. Now, this isn't like, I don't know if it's a big mistake, but it's definitely not like, I don't think it's the best play, but we'll see what happens. So I hear Tracer, end up getting a huge pressure out on Tracer, force her recall, which is great, okay? And then we move in even more, get more pressure on Tracer, and I'm able to link up with my Doomfist. So I was able to, in a way, create a lot of space here for my team. So I don't really necessarily think it's a mistake, but it's something I like to think about whenever I'm playing Illari, or playing like the game in general. How am I enabling my team? So we move in forward here, and our Ashe ends up getting 2-tapped, I'm pretty sure, ends up going down. Tracer has no recall, so he can't really super force me. He uses it. We end up getting the kill on Doomfist. Tracer is kicked out by me. I'm able to confirm the kill on Mercy as well. This looks like a really great spot for us. This just shows the power of the Illari gun. Because we were winning the fight and I see that Tracer's 1v1ing our Ana, I rotate to start healing our Ana up. But Tracer ends up hitting that stick, which is really good, and then Tracer gets nanoed. Because Tracer gets nanoed, he can actually one-clip me, and Doomfist is never going to be able to kill him, and I'm never going to be able to kill him because Ana's pocketing Tracer. So that means that I have to play back, and I put my pylon rotation spot here. Our Doomfist makes a huge mistake and just charges in 1v5, ends up getting killed for it, and then I just die shortly after. It is what it is. We're getting killed this game, okay? That Tracer made a ridiculous play, which won them that round. So moving on. So we're coming out in this again. I'm learning from my mistakes. So remember, before I put my pylon in the middle, which was fine because nobody owned the space in the middle, but now I'm not just going to throw it in the middle, and I'm not going to throw it left. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm putting my pylon here so that I can start healing our backline instead. That's what I'm thinking about the pylon. Torv was out of the range of the pylon, he needs healed, and now I can start applying pressure. Something I always do before I ult, okay? You want to throw your pylon in a forward location before you ult. So if you saw, I tossed it at the wall and instantly popped my ult. I love looking for solo ults. If you've ever watched any of my other content with Illari, solo ulting is my favorite thing in the world. Okay? I end up whiffing though. Okay? So I shoot it at McCree. McCree ends up rolling out of it. And I take this duel with McCree because not only is it good for me and I can do a lot of pressure to him, it actually wastes his time. Now it's not able to do anything because Mercy's actually ulting, and whenever she's ulting, she does extra healing. So this McCree doesn't end up dying, but it is what it is. Like, we were kind of going to lose the fight anyways. And we end up going down, okay? Moving into the next round, something that I start thinking about while we're in the waiting spawn is how can I pocket my McCree better? Because my McCree, I think at this point is like 0-3. He's really not getting any value, but like I know he's not a bad player. So I'm starting to think like maybe I should just keep him in mind this round. Maybe I should just think about that a little bit more. The reason I put my pylon here is because if you look at the very top here, the point doesn't actually unlock for another 20 seconds. And Illari is a long-range character, a long-range mid-range character. I'm going to be looking for any duel I possibly can find. There's only really one character that Illari cannot duel, and that is Widow. You never want to be dueling a Widow, okay? But since their team doesn't have a Widow, everybody's fair game on their team for me to shoot at. That fall off range from McCree is just too much. So you're going to see me start pressuring people out. Just this little chip damage, those little tiny shots. Just that one shot I hit ended up leading to the kill. If I didn't hit that one shot, Kiri gets the cleanse off, and then that McCree doesn't die. But because I hit that one shot, that one little piece of pressure, we're allowed to get the kill. It's a team effort. Since we got the kill, we start moving forward. I start pushing this Doomfist because if you think about it, Doomfist cannot come to us, and this this pylon's not forward. And I'm also trying to play. I end up getting that kill on Ana. Trying to play with this McCree in mind. I told you, I was trying to make that mindset switch. That our McCree seems to like being really aggressive. He went 0-3. So maybe I can just try to pocket him a little more and it'll enable him. Alright. Now, holding position for Illari on this point, you want to be putting your pylon here, okay? And I always like to ping it just in case they know. So lower level Illaris will always put their pylon inside of here. This is really bad. You never want to put your pylon inside here. They are not holding this position. This is not a position where they're going to like, I'm holding here till I die. They are just poking to get resources out, and then they're going to be rotating back to the point, right? So if I put my pylon inside here, and they decide to swing around this way, that pylon's dead right away. But if they want to kill this pylon, it's going to be much harder for them to get. Also, it's going to be a natural rotation spot for my team, which will be able to get healed by that pylon, okay? Once again, we're just kind of looking for any type of like value or resources that we can get. Tracer goes in way too far and just gets punished for it. She doesn't even recall, noob. Jiggle peeking. This is jiggle peeking at its finest, okay? Anna shoots her sleep dart. I see it, jiggle peek it, and I'm fine. Really small things, but that's tech that you're using all the time and thinking about. It just becomes natural. Alright, since that pylon was there, they rotate back to my pylon spot. Now, as soon as I see this Doomfist out of the corner of my eye here, I rotate this pylon to this left side on this wall here, okay? The reason I do that is because now, since it's tilted down, if they walk out, they cannot see it from this angle, they can't see it from this angle. If you look at Doomfist, Doomfist can't see anything, okay? So now it's much safer. And because they're taking this wide angle, it's probably going to force us to point more, which is going to allow us to start getting healed if needed. Remember, I just don't want this pylon to die. If it's here, there's a chance it dies, and if it's dead, it has no value. If it's alive, it can at least do something. Also, it can heal us in this position right here. It can hit me and McCree, which is why I really like that spot. I found it a long time ago, and I think it's really great. Doomfist gets charged punch, ends up going in on Anna, and because he goes so deep and uses all of his cooldowns, I love taking these duels as Illari. People really underestimate how good and how strong her gun is, and you're going to see me kind of really baiting this Doomfist to try to attack me here. Remember, my pylon's still on point. It's still getting value healing my team. So I'm going to try to kill this Doomfist now. I wanted Doomfist to dive me because I knew that if he dove me here and came around this corner, I was going to not only be able to get the med pack, but I'm going to be able to pocket myself with a pylon, and he's going to be really hard-pressed to try to kill me here. So I end up getting it, and it's just tickling him. I'm just tickling him down. Illari has such a small hitbox that it's so hard for him to try to kill anything. And he ends up dying, and then he said something in chat, and he's mad. So we got Kree coming out. Right? Since they start taking that wide angle again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. If my pylon was up here, and this McCree pushed out wide here, that pylon is dead. That's why my pylon is in this spot. It makes it significantly harder for them to kill it. I rotate my pylon back to that spot that I was talking about before. I really like that spot. Now I end up getting stuck, and because I get stuck, you have to kind of react pretty fast to these types of things. Tracer comes in, and since I got stuck, I press my shift, and I get out to a really safe spot so I know that I can't die. But because I rotated my pylon right before I died there, watch what's going to happen. They start pushing my McCree, but little do they know, that pylon is just pocketing my Kree along with Anna. And because of that, they used so many resources to try to kill him, and he was able to win the fight. Remember, it's a mindset change that I had going in from round 1 to round 2 of trying to keep that McCree alive. Even there, you can still see my pylon starting to heal him. Doomfist ends up popping his ult as soon as I come in, and I have my ult up, and I'm like, I'm going to ult this Doomfist the second that he falls down. Trying to keep my pylon there. So I ult as soon as he comes down on me, because not only is it going to put a lot of pressure on Doomfist, he's going to have to use his cooldowns. I'm going to be safer from him. But watch this play this Doomfist makes. This makes me want to play Doomfist. This is sick. Look at that. He destroyed me. It wasn't even close. That was insane. But our team ends up cleaning up. They end up winning the fight for us, and then we go into round 3, and we end up winning round 3. I don't want to make the video too long, but I hope that this was educational. I hope you got something out of it. I really just think about the game in terms of my angle I'm holding, my position I'm holding, and where my team's going to be rotating to. I hope you got something out of it. Like and subscribe if you liked it. I love this character, so sweet. Thanks for watching.